What if a single dream had the power to change your entire life? The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho is not just a story. It is a journey of faith, courage, and self-discovery. It follows a young shepherd named Santiago, who dares to listen to a mysterious dream and chooses uncertainty over comfort. What begins as a simple desire for treasure slowly transforms into a deeper search for meaning, purpose, and destiny. This book teaches us that everyone has a personal legend, a dream meant only for them. But fear, doubt, and routine often stop people from chasing it. Through deserts, losses, love, and powerful signs, Santiago learns that the real treasure is not found at the destination, but in the person he becomes along the way. If you have ever felt stuck, confused, or afraid to follow your dream, this story will speak directly to your heart. This is not just Santiago's journey. It is a mirror of our own life journey. Let us begin a story that has inspired millions to trust their dreams and listen to their hearts. Chapter 1. Santiago the Shepherd from Andalusia. The story begins in the region of Andalusia, Spain, where a young boy named Santiago lives the life of a shepherd. He travels from place to place with his flock of sheep, sleeping under the open sky and relying on nature for guidance. Although his life seems simple, Santiago is not an ordinary shepherd. He can read, something rare among shepherds, and he often carries a book with him which he has already read many times. Santiago chose the life of a shepherd not because he was forced into it, but because he wanted to travel and see the world. He had once studied in a seminary to become a priest, as his parents wished, but he realized that he wanted to know the world more than he wanted to serve a church. Becoming a shepherd gave him freedom. Freedom to move, to observe people, and to learn from experience. One evening, Santiago arrives at an abandoned church with a broken roof, where a large sycamore tree grows inside. This place has become familiar to him. He has slept here before. As his sheep settle down for the night, Santiago reflects on his life. He feels content but also restless, as if something greater is waiting for him. That night, Santiago has a recurring dream. In the dream, a child takes him by the hands and leads him to the pyramids of Egypt. The child tells him that if he comes to this place, he will find a hidden treasure. Just as Santiago asks where the treasure is, he wakes up. This dream has appeared before, and its repetition makes him uneasy. Santiago believes that dreams are meaningful. He remembers that people say when a dream repeats, it is a sign that it carries an important message. Curious and confused, he decides that he needs someone to interpret the dream. Chapter 2. The Gypsy Woman and the Meaning of the Dream. The next day, Santiago visits a gypsy woman who is known for interpreting dreams. He is suspicious of her, as he has heard stories about gypsies tricking people, but his curiosity overcomes his fear. The woman listens carefully as Santiago explains his dream about the pyramids and the treasure. Instead of giving a mysterious or complex explanation, the gypsy woman gives him a simple answer. She says that dreams are the language of God and that Santiago must go to the pyramids to find his treasure. In return for her interpretation, she asks for 1/10 of the treasure if he finds it. Santiago feels disappointed and confused. He expected wisdom or guidance, not a direct command to travel across the world. He leaves without feeling satisfied, wondering whether the dream is just an illusion or something truly meaningful. Chapter 3. Meeting Melchizedek, the King of Salem. Soon after leaving the gypsy woman, Santiago sits in the town square, feeling lost. At that moment, an old man approaches him and begins a conversation. The old man knows strange details about Santiago's life, about his parents, his decision to become a shepherd, and even about the dream. The old man introduces himself as Melchizedek, the King of Salem. He explains to Santiago the concept of a personal legend, the idea that every person has a unique destiny or purpose in life. According to Melchizedek, happiness comes when a person follows their personal legend. He tells Santiago that when someone truly desires something, the entire universe conspires to help them achieve it. However, many people abandon their dreams because of fear, comfort, or social pressure. To prove his wisdom, Melchizedek gives Santiago 2 stones, Urim and Thummim. These stones will help him read omens and make decisions when he is confused. In exchange, the king asks Santiago to give him 1/10 of his sheep. After much hesitation, Santiago agrees. This decision marks a turning point in his life. For the first time, he commits himself fully to pursuing his dream, even though he does not know what lies ahead. Chapter 4. Crossing into Africa, the first step of the journey. After selling his sheep, Santiago travels to the port town of Tarifa, located at the southern edge of Spain. Standing near the sea, he looks across the water toward Africa, a land he has never seen before. The sea represents both opportunity and fear. Crossing it means leaving behind everything familiar. Despite his doubts, Santiago remembers the words of Melchizedek about following one's personal legend. With courage and hope, he uses the money earned from selling his sheep to buy a ticket to Tangier, Morocco. This moment marks Santiago's true commitment. For the first time, he is no longer dreaming, he is acting. As the ship sails away from Spain, Santiago feels excitement mixed with fear, knowing that there is no turning back. Chapter 5. Tangier, Loss, Fear, and Reality. When Santiago arrives in Tangier, everything feels strange. The language is unfamiliar, the customs are different, and he feels isolated. Soon after his arrival, Santiago meets a young man who speaks Spanish. Trusting him, Santiago asks for help in finding food. The young man takes Santiago through crowded markets and narrow streets. Suddenly, in the chaos of the crowd, the man disappears, along with all of Santiago's money. Santiago is left alone, confused, and devastated. This loss becomes Santiago's first major test. He feels anger, sadness, and regret. He blames himself for being naive and considers returning home. For a moment, he feels that pursuing dreams only leads to pain. However, Santiago remembers the idea of omens and signs. Instead of giving up, he realizes that this setback is part of the journey. He chooses not to see himself as a victim but as a learner. Chapter 6. The Crystal Merchant, Learning Patience and Effort. Hungry and desperate, Santiago wanders through the city until he reaches a small shop selling crystal glassware. The shop belongs to an old crystal merchant who is struggling to keep his business alive. Santiago asks for work in exchange for food. The merchant reluctantly agrees. Over time, Santiago begins to observe customers and think creatively. He suggests simple ideas, like displaying the crystal outside the shop and serving tea in crystal glasses, to attract more customers. These ideas work. The business slowly begins to improve, and Santiago starts earning money. During this time, Santiago learns the value of hard work, patience, and persistence. The crystal merchant, however, is a man who dreams but never acts. He has always wanted to go to Mecca, but fear keeps him trapped. Through this contrast, Santiago learns an important lesson. Some people choose comfort over destiny. Chapter 7. A choice between comfort and dream. After nearly a year, Santiago has earned enough money to buy back his sheep and return to Spain. He stands at a crossroads. One path leads to safety and familiarity. The other leads deeper into uncertainty, the desert and the pyramids. Although the comfortable choice is tempting, Santiago listens to his heart. He understands that returning home would mean abandoning his personal legend forever. With renewed determination, Santiago decides to continue his journey. He joins a caravan traveling across the Sahara Desert, moving one step closer to his dream. Chapter 8. The Caravan and the Desert Journey. Santiago joins a large caravan that is preparing to cross the Sahara Desert. The desert is vast, silent, and dangerous. The caravan moves slowly, following strict rules because even a small mistake in the desert can lead to death. As the journey begins, Santiago observes the people around him. He notices that the desert teaches everyone the same lesson: humility. No one can control the desert. One can only respect it and learn from it. Santiago starts listening more to his heart and less to his fears. Chapter 9. Meeting the Englishman, Knowledge versus Experience. During the journey, Santiago meets a man known as the Englishman. The Englishman is traveling to find a famous alchemist who lives somewhere in the desert. He believes that by studying books, he can understand the secrets of alchemy. The Englishman carries many heavy books and spends most of his time reading. Santiago, on the other hand, learns by observing people, nature, and signs. Although their approaches are different, they form a bond and learn from each other. The Englishman teaches Santiago about alchemy, the idea of transforming metal into gold, but also about transforming oneself. Santiago realizes that true wisdom is not found only in books, but in real-life experience. Chapter 10: The Universal Language and Omens. As the caravan continues, Santiago becomes more aware of the universal language, a language that does not use words but signs, emotions, and intuition. He learns that everything in the world is connected, and those who follow their personal legend can understand this language. Santiago practices reading omens in small events. The movement of the camel, the behavior of people, and even his own feelings. Slowly, he gains confidence in trusting his heart. Chapter 11. Arrival at the Oasis, a place of life. After many weeks of travel, the caravan reaches a beautiful oasis filled with palm trees, water wells, and life. The oasis feels like a miracle after the harsh desert. Here, Santiago and the caravan are forced to stop because tribal wars make further travel unsafe. At the oasis, Santiago experiences a deep sense of peace. It is here that his journey begins to shift from physical travel to spiritual awakening. Chapter 12. Fatima, Love and Destiny. While visiting a well at the oasis, Santiago meets Fatima, a young desert woman. The moment he sees her, he feels a deep connection. Santiago realizes that this is not ordinary attraction but true love. Fatima teaches Santiago that real love does not stop a person from following their personal legend. Instead, it supports and strengthens it. She encourages him to continue his journey, promising to wait for him. Santiago understands that love and destiny are not enemies. They exist together. Chapter 13. The Omen of War. While staying at the oasis, Santiago becomes deeply connected to the desert and its signs. One afternoon, as he watches two hawks fighting in the sky, he suddenly receives a powerful vision. In his vision, he sees an army riding toward the oasis, bringing destruction and death. Santiago understands that this vision is an omen. Remembering what he has learned about listening to signs, he gathers the courage to warn the tribal leaders of the oasis. Speaking up is dangerous, but ignoring the vision would be even more dangerous. The leaders take Santiago's warning seriously. They prepare the oasis for defense. Santiago's bravery saves countless lives, and as a reward, he is given gold and the position of an advisor. More importantly, this moment proves that he has learned to trust the universal language. Chapter 14. Meeting the Alchemist. Soon after the incident, Santiago hears about a mysterious man known simply as the Alchemist. This man lives in the desert and possesses great spiritual power. One night, the Alchemist visits Santiago, testing his courage and awareness. The Alchemist explains that true alchemy is not about turning metal into gold, but about helping a person reach their personal legend. He sees that Santiago is ready for the next stage of his journey. Chapter 15. The Journey Through Danger. Santiago leaves the oasis with the alchemist to continue toward the pyramids. Their journey through the desert is filled with danger. They encounter tribal warriors and face the constant threat of death. During this time, the alchemist teaches Santiago about fear. He explains that fear is the greatest obstacle to following one's dream. When fear is understood, it loses its power. Chapter 16. Becoming the Wind. At one point, Santiago is captured by warriors and challenged to prove his power. To save his life, he must demonstrate the ability to turn himself into the wind. Through deep connection with the desert, the wind, and the sun, Santiago learns to communicate with the soul of the world. In a moment of complete faith and surrender, he succeeds. This transformation is not physical magic, but a spiritual awakening. Chapter 17. Toward the Pyramids, Walking Alone. After demonstrating his unity with the forces of nature, Santiago is finally allowed to continue his journey. The alchemist accompanies him for some distance, teaching him that guidance is given only until a person can walk on his own. Near the edge of the desert, the alchemist leaves Santiago, reminding him to listen to his heart and trust the signs. Santiago continues alone toward the pyramids of Egypt, carrying gold and wisdom but also humility. Each step feels heavy with meaning, as he realizes that the journey itself has already transformed him. Chapter 18. The Arrival and the Test of Faith. At last, Santiago reaches the pyramids. Overwhelmed by their grandeur, he falls to his knees and cries with joy and gratitude. He begins digging where his heart tells him the treasure lies. Suddenly, a group of robbers attacks him. They beat him and steal his gold. One of the robbers mocks Santiago for believing in dreams. He tells Santiago that he himself once dreamed of a treasure buried in an abandoned church in Spain, beneath a sycamore tree, but he was not foolish enough to follow the dream. Though wounded and exhausted, Santiago understands the final lesson hidden in the robber's words. Chapter 19. Understanding the True Treasure. Santiago realizes that the treasure was never meant to be found at the pyramids themselves. The journey led him there so he could understand where it truly was. The dream that brought him across the world was pointing him back to where he started. The true treasure lies beneath the abandoned church in Spain, the very place where he first had the dream. But now Santiago is no longer the same boy. He has gained knowledge, courage, love, and spiritual awareness. Chapter 20. Returning home, full circle. Santiago returns to Spain and finds the old church with the broken roof and the sycamore tree. He digs beneath it and discovers a chest filled with gold coins, jewels, and precious stones. Holding the treasure, Santiago smiles. He understands that had he not followed his personal legend, he would never have found it. Not because the treasure moved, but because he needed to grow to deserve it. He thinks of Fatima and plans to return to the oasis, knowing that true love waits and does not fade. Final message of the book. The story ends with a powerful truth. When a person follows his personal legend, every experience, loss, struggle, love, and pain, becomes meaningful. The real treasure is not gold, but the person we become through the journey. And so, Santiago's journey comes to an end, but the message of the alchemist continues to live on. This story reminds us that dreams are not meaningless wishes. They are calls from our soul. Every setback, every delay, and every struggle is not meant to stop us, but to prepare us. The treasure Santiago finds is not just gold buried under a tree. It is the wisdom that true fulfillment comes from following one's personal legend. The journey teaches us courage, patience, faith, and the ability to listen to our heart. If you are standing at a crossroads in life, remember this. Comfort may feel safe, but growth lies beyond fear. When you take the first honest step toward your dream, the universe responds. Sparkles follow your dream. Trust the process. Become the person your dream needs you to be. This is not just the end of a book. It is an invitation to begin your own journey.